Hello and welcome. My name is Amanda, and today we're going to do a meditation and tapping practice all about self love. Love is a health nurturing, life enhancing positive emotion. As an emotion, it transforms us anytime we experience shared positivity, big or small, with others or ourselves. Whenever we experience a moment of love, we tap into the most powerful reservoir we have within us. So let's jump right into a quick meditation before we get started with the tapping. Invite you to take a minute to get comfortable, just noticing if anywhere feels a little tight. Maybe you want to change your position. You're welcome to sit cross-legged or with your feet on the ground, or even lie down if that's more comfortable. You can always grab pillows or blankets, just finding a posture that feels good for you. Remembering there's no pressure to meditate a certain way, no right or wrong. Inviting your mind to relax and maybe let go just a little, knowing that I'll be here guiding you through your practice today and inviting you back when it's time. So when you feel ready, you can close your eyes or just gaze down. We're helping to minimize distractions from the outside world. You're always welcome to tune me out and just focus on your breath or even your favorite place. And don't stress at all if you need to shift or open your eyes during the meditation. This is your time. So when in doubt, please know you can trust yourself. I'm just here to offer you options. Let's take a few deep breaths together. I invite you to turn your attention inward and just notice what you notice. Perhaps bringing your attention to your five senses. Even with your eyes closed or gazing down, noticing what you can smell, see, or hear. Getting accustomed to the sounds in and around this space, the sensation of being right here. And you can start to imagine you have an inner gauge for feeling or self-loved from 1 to 10. Perhaps going a little deeper and feeling how much you love the most challenging parts, or a part that most needs love today. From 1 being not at all to 10 and fully and conditionally loved right now. This can be such a challenge because we often want to change these most challenging parts instead of loving them just as they are right now. So if your number feels really low on that self-love for this part or yourself right now, perhaps bring in a little extra support. Maybe recalling a time that you really felt loved or you really loved someone. A moment, it could be small or big, just a moment where there was shared positivity. And you can bring that in, see if you can give that to this part today. And don't worry if this feels really hard or even impossible. We're going to use tapping today to help us feel more loved exactly how we are. So when you have this 1 to 10 number in your mind, you can open your eyes or bring your gaze back up. Today, we're going to use tapping to tap into feeling our whole self loved. If you haven't heard of tapping before, you can think of it as acupressure for your emotions. The CDC says that there is an emotional component to 85% of illnesses. So when you use tapping to shift your unconscious beliefs and emotions, you shift the chemicals being released into the body. In doing so, you are literally able to shift your nervous system, as well as your digestive and endocrine systems, your hormones, your energy levels, and more. So we'll be tapping on acupoints while we give a voice to your emotions. We might voice some negative feels, but we're never tapping in negative affirmations. Because we're sending the calming signal through the body as we voice, we're removing or reducing their charge. Like rocking a child while they share their feelings. Please know you can always change the words if anything is triggering or hurtful. As we start to tap, you'll follow along with the tapping points and repeat the statements I say, remembering the words I say really are secondary. I could be saying anything. It's really about the calming signal and the attunement in this practice today. If anything feels uncomfortable or painful in your body, you can skip that point or tap on one that feels more comfortable for you. Once we've gone through the cycle, you'll see all the different points, so feel free to move them around as you want if anything feels uncomfortable. So the first point is the karate chop. So you bring your hands together and turn them like this. And we're going to talk to the most in need of love part of you today, a challenging part. Even though I never speak to anyone else the way I speak to you, somehow it's what feels right. Even though I don't logically think you deserve to suffer. I don't know how else to get you to change or improve. Even when I find you the most challenging or the least deserving of love. I really do want you to feel loved. Especially when I find you the most challenging or the least deserving of love. All I want is for you to feel loved. And we're going to come up here. So the inside edges of the eyebrows. I'm sorry I've been so hard on you. And we're going to go here to the side of the eyes. I don't really think you deserve it. And under the eyes, on the bone. I'm sorry I've been so hard on you. Under the nose. I know you don't deserve it. And then in the crease of the chin. Nobody deserves that kind of harshness. This collarbone, on the collarbone, and go down about an inch and out about an inch. You can also move around and see if a spot feels more comfortable in there for you, or that kind of constant pressure. And you go to the side of the body. It's too much pressure. In front of the body on that same horizontal. No wonder you feel so badly. Tapping the wrists together. Maybe I can be willing to let you off the hook. And then we go to the top of the head, make a little circle. Maybe. And we're going to come back. What if I could see myself the way someone who loves me does? What if I were as kind and loving to all the parts of me as I am to those I love? What if I spoke to all the parts of myself with love? Especially the most challenging parts. With the kind of care that I use for those I love. What if, in order to practice self-love, I need to really love even those parts of myself? Those parts that feel really hard to love. Especially that part. Maybe I can be willing to love you unconditionally. To speak to you the way I speak to those I love. To encourage you and motivate you with kind words and support. Maybe I can treat you differently. Because you're obviously a part of me. And we're in this together. What if I've been seeking out there for the love I want to feel in here? But maybe it really does start with self-love. Feeling myself loved, really cared for. Especially when it feels like my body isn't on my team. Maybe it really can just start with loving myself more fully. And you can shake it out. We're going to check back in with our self-love inner gauge. Taking a moment again to get comfortable. I invite you to close your eyes or just gaze down. Noticing again where your number falls from 1 to 10. On feeling that challenging part of ourself loved and accepted just as it is right now. So 1 again being not at all, and 10 being fully and completely. And if your number is lower than you'd like, perhaps recalling the last time you felt yourself loved. creating a snapshot that you can come back to in your mind. Perhaps how your breath felt, your heart, or even in your gut. Was there a temperature like warmth? Or even how your posture changed when you felt loved? And if you can't recall this last time that you felt loved, you can bring to mind something that you read in a book or saw on TV or a movie that felt like love. Remembering this can be big or small, but we want to be able to recall it. Creating a self-loved snapshot that you can call to mind whenever you need it. Notice if this visualization changes your number at all. If you bring in that breath or posture, smells or sights, anything that reminds you of a time when you felt loved. Does your number change on that scale of 1 to 10? When you have your number in mind, you can bring your attention back to the room, opening your eyes and bringing your gaze back up. So it's totally normal if you're at a 5 or below. You might feel a little resistance towards me or the words that we're tapping. Kind of like if someone tells you to just focus on the bright side or the positive, and that just feels so far away. You think they're a little crazy or annoying. But we're just voicing some possibilities, even if they don't feel available right now. So we're going to go back in. Remember, you're repeating after me. I'm ready to let all the parts of me feel loved. I'm ready to feel my whole self loved. Maybe that is what unconditional love is all about. I'm choosing to love even the most challenging parts of myself. Maybe it's possible to even love my inflammation. To send the pain even more love. I'm choosing to let even those parts feel loved. It feels good to feel myself loved. It feels good to feel fully approved of. It feels good to feel like we're in this together. Like we're on the same team. with the same goals, the same desires, the same hopes and dreams. It feels good to feel like we're in this together. Even the parts that have felt the most challenging. Especially the parts that have felt the most challenging. I'm ready to really be on my own team. To maybe even be my own cheerleader. To even feel grateful to my body and what it's telling me. You can shake it out. We'll take another minute to get comfortable. Feel free to stretch, change positions. Lowering your gaze or closing your eyes again when it feels safe. Let's take a deep breath together. And I invite you to check back in one more time with your inner gauge. And notice if your number has stayed the same or gone up or down on that 1 to 10 scale. Just noticing. Reminding yourself there's no need to judge. And I invite you to feel your whole self generating love for yourself, especially the harder to love, more challenging parts. Just practicing, savoring, and basking in love. Maybe you can imagine bringing this increased sense of love for yourself in these challenging parts with you out into the world. Beginning by simply letting yourself imagine an increased sense of love within you. Imagining how love looks and feels on you. Really feeling how feeling loved feels in your body right now. Noticing how does love change your posture? Or your facial expressions? Or even your movement? Perhaps you see it changing your interactions with others or your tone of voice. Maybe it changes your inner voice and how you talk to yourself. Creating cues to return to whenever you notice your heart has wandered away from love. Perhaps when your inner critic starts to take the wheel at some point during your day, you can remember this practice and try to remember this feeling of feeling loved. How you can generate love anytime with yourself or others. And if it feels accessible, see how you know when you are loved. Giving yourself kind of roadmap or markers to come back to. Maybe going a little deeper, going back into recalling the most recent moment you felt loved. Maybe bringing in your SOS, a source of support that helps you feel safe, loved, and like you belong. Imagine receiving that your definition of love from your SOS. Letting yourself drink in everything you need until you really feel loved. Perhaps even sending a little extra love to that part of you that feels harder to love. Maybe it's a diagnosis, pain, inflammation, or just a part of you that you like to push down, or you feel like doesn't belong. Just sending it a little extra love. And as you inhale, breathe in all the love you need. And as you exhale, savor how feeling love feels. Maybe even making a sound on the exhale, like till it sounds like your sound for enjoying love. You can even add a color to what love feels like, looks like as you inhale and exhale. Just continuing with the breath. Imagine lighting up every cell of yourself with love. and savoring this feeling. And when you feel ready, you can gently bring your attention back to the room. Taking your time, you can bring some gentle movements. You can stretch your arms or even sway, following your own rhythm so that you can savor even the process of coming out of your practice today. Bringing some self-love even into this moment. You can open your eyes or bring your gaze back up, maybe blinking the eyelids open, even placing your hands over your eyelids to make it a little gentler, letting the light back in. And I invite you to practice generating love for yourself at least once a day, every day this week, and notice how the self-love transforms you and the people around you. Remembering, as Barbara Fredrickson says, loving is a skill. It takes practice. Thank you so much for practicing this tapping and meditation with me today. I'm sending you a little extra love and joy as you continue on with your day. Thank you.